Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sarah. Thank you so much for joining me today. The purpose of this video is to help you choose a colouring book for yourself, whether you are just starting out, whether you're intermediate or advanced. So there are a range of different colouring books on the market in all different shapes and sizes, from some recognised authors like Johanna Basford and Karlzon, and some smaller authors that you can find in areas like Kmart and Walmart and a lot of different shops. The other reason why I wanted to break down colouring books for beginners is because you might not have access to a bookstore where you live. So it can be a little bit hard to buy colouring books online when you don't really know what you are working with, what the books look like, what the images look like. So I'm here today to help you break that down. So one of my first suggestions is, when you're buying a colouring book, start with something simple. Start with something that is suited to your taste. Start with something where the subject matter is of interest to you. So it might be animals, it might be flowers or leaves or a jungle theme, and choose something that inspires you to colour. Also something that's within your price point. So for example, his Small Victories, in my opinion, is a great place to start, not only because it's small and you can see it's literally the size of my hand, and I don't have massive hands, I don't think. And if I were to grab, just for reference, that's like your standard pen size. So it's quite small. And you don't have the overwhelm of completing a massive page. Now, some of these images can be quite detailed, however, some are less detailed than others. So this one, for example, is not too bad because you've got some larger shapes and larger elements which you can colour in if that's what you're wanting. Say if you're wanting to colour with textures or markers. And then you can certainly move into more detailed images if you like. There is certainly no obligation whatsoever to start in detailed work if you don't want to. For example, I'm working on a page at the moment which is a double page spread of jungle leaves, and the space that you have to colour is huge. So if intricate details and lines are a little bit overwhelming for you, there are plenty of options. Now, this is a Johanna Basford book. This is Magical Jungle. So this one was published quite a few years ago. Let me have a look at the title. 2016. So this is one of her older works. And I find that with Johanna's works, a lot of her older stuff does have more space. Now, I know because this book is bigger, so there's my hand there. If I compare it to Small Victories, so it's slightly bigger and these are square. So these have more space in some of these things, and then you get to some finer work. Again, there's lots of different elements you can colour. There's some simple designs, so you don't feel obliged to colour the whole page. This would be really good, this butterfly, I think, as a starter, if you have like fine liners and pencils, or gel pens and pencils, or alcohol markers as well. So these certainly are a great option. And I love this page because the leaves are quite big, so it's giving me a lot of room to blend with my pencils. And you can see I have started here. Now, because this space is so big, the colours, it's not quite very forgiving. I can see the lines, so I will go ahead and fix that. This one's come up a lot better. So Johanna Basford books are certainly an option. They are widely available. They are available in bookshops, and they're also available online on Amazon. And I do know that Kmart in Australia does stock some of her older editions. They just aren't the ones that come with a jacket. They have a little bit of a different cover. So that is something to consider when you're purchasing these. So these are a great place to start. Another tip that I would suggest if you're not wanting to start with a whole colouring book is by downloading some PDFs online and colouring a couple of pages before you commit. For example, if you sign up to Johanna Basford's mailing list, she does actually provide you with a PDF book that you can download, print off, and colour in. And you can throw them away or you can save them. So the PDFs are a great option if you're looking to start but you don't want to commit to the cost. The Johanna Basford books can range between $20 to $30 Australian. I don't know off the top of my head what that conversion is, and I've just noticed there is a bit of chocolate on my... let's try and get that off. There's a bit of chocolate on my book here. So Johanna is a great place to start because there's lots of options and she has lots of different elements as well. Another book that I would recommend in Kmart or anywhere is Colour by Numbers. They are a great option if you just want to colour something but you don't want to pick the colours. You want the colours to be chosen for you. So the Colour by Numbers are a great option as well. They are widely available in bookstores and online. I would suggest going into a bookshop to have a look. I don't have any of those on hand at the moment. I do apologise for that. The other one that I would suggest is a mandala colouring book as well. This is kind of a mandala with birds and leaves. So if you're just starting out, you could just colour in the birds and the leaves. You don't have to colour in the background if you don't want to. And then over here we have some flowers as well. So this is another option. You can just go ahead and colour the petals in the one colour if you like. Or these are also a great option to practice your shading if you're learning techniques from YouTube. And Johanna also has some bigger elements, some bigger flowers and things like that. She also has, some bigger animals as well. So she has a large variety of options for you. And with small victories as well, I think the price point is around $20 for something like this in a bookshop. I couldn't tell you what they are on Amazon. I'm not quite sure. So another option for you if you are looking for colouring books that have a more budget-friendly price point in, say, Kmart, for example. I think Kmart have Millie's books for around $16. I believe I even got a Johanna Basford one for $9 from Kmart. So Millie's books are another fantastic idea because even though they are detailed, you don't have to be limited to such detail in your work. For example, with these crocodiles, you don't have to colour in each of these lines separately. You could colour in one section and kind of like cross hatch the colours. You could just colour in that whole section in one if you wanted. You could certainly go individually if you wanted to as well. There's different ways in which you can do this. You could colour each section a different colour, or you could shade them and blend the colours like I did with the leaves. So these are a really great option to start with as well because you have options in the way that you colour. Yes, especially this page 2, we've got some not lovely big leaves here. So you could certainly just go through and colour those. You don't have to worry about shading or anything like that. And they are also fantastic if you want to get into shading for practicing as well. Now, I haven't started colouring in her books just yet, as much as I'm really looking forward to this. I just have so many different types of books that I want to start with. Now, Millie's books are the same size as Johanna Basford, so let me pull... This is Magical Worlds, which is her latest release. So if I... Yes, they're exactly the same. So that they're that square size, and that's probably the standard size that you're going to get in a colouring book. I am seeing more A4 size books come out. However, I would say probably 70% of the books that are in the market are square or they're smaller. So you do have lots of different options. One thing that can be a bit, you can see that it's quite raised. So if I wanted to flatten this, I would have to crack the spine and press it quite hard. Now, it's not really a problem for a mandala like this because the image doesn't come to the edge. But if there was an image that was coming to the edge, I would have to work really hard to crack that and press that. I often find sometimes if, I might just hold the page like that and try and colour it, or I might flip it. So that's just one thing to consider as well. Again, we've got more large images in this book. I believe Millie I need to do more research on her, but I believe she is also one of the pioneers that started when Johanna Basford started as well. Okay, so moving on to some different books. So this is another Johanna Basford one. This is her latest release. Now, this one is a little bit more detailed in some. As I say that, I'm opening one that's quite... That one will be quite lovely to colour if you're starting, I believe. So, yes, these are quite good, actually, the more I look at them. Here we go. Here's something a little bit more detailed that might not be of interest to you. But here we have another one that would be good to begin with. And you may have noticed as well that every new book that I purchase, I do a silent flip through of the book on my channel in case you would like to know or have a look through the book before purchasing it online. Again, because not everyone has the option to go into a physical store and buy books. So hence why I do those videos for you, is so you can have a flip through, a virtual flip through before you commit. So there is a full flip through of this book up on my channel. So if you want more book ideas, then feel free. I have a playlist as well. I think I have about 13 to 15 books. There are, at the date of filming of this video, not all of them have been released. I've scheduled them just so I don't bombard you with 15 videos in one day. I feel that Johanna has stuck true to her style in the way that she provides detailed work and more simplistic images as well, which is fantastic. And I believe with her later books, the images don't go straight right to the edge, because you can see here there's a nice gap between the images here. But here you can see that we've got, it's right to the middle, which isn't a huge problem. I remember when I first started colouring, I've believe that I've thrown the book out. If I ever somehow find it by some miracle, I will show you. But I started off colouring, there's a mark there. I started off colouring with textures, with markers, I should say. And I started off with a title page, and I just started colouring one by one, page by page. I'd flip through and colour in order. The other good thing about Johanna Basford books is that she gives tips for colouring. So for example, she likes to colour with pencils. They are so versatile and allow you to blend colours. A metallic or glitter gel pen is great for adding a touch of magic and shimmer. And if you don't know what these gel pens are, I'm sure you do. If you don't, I have two examples here. I have a glitter gel pen here, which is a red Signo, and then I've got a pastel orange here, which I actually have out for the page that I'm using. Use colour palette test pages at the back of the book to check if your ink bleeds through the paper. Now that is very important if you're using textures, markers, for example, the Ohuhu glitter markers. I wouldn't say they bleed through. There is a bit of a shadow, but they certainly don't bleed through like your alcohol marker would. And I think Poscas are okay too. These are paint pens. They're a little bit different. So at the back of Johanna's books, here we have some colouring, the colour palette test pages, which is a wonderful addition to the book. Pop a blank sheet of paper under the page you're working on to avoid leaving any marks on the page below. This is really important, and I'm so glad that she's put this in her books, because if you are heavy-handed like myself, if you're pressing on here continuously with a pencil, whatever ink is underneath on the other page, so for example here, that will actually transfer over here because you're pressing so hard. So you can either use paper, but I use these plastic sheets, which are available in packs from Officeworks that are in the binding section, because I think these are traditionally used for if you're binding books with a ring binder. This would be your cover, but I use them behind my colouring books. I find them easier to work with, and they're great with alcohol markers as well. I find that if I put paper behind, I can't wipe paper clean, whereas these you can wipe them clean if you get pencil dust, and you can reuse them a lot more than you can paper. But paper is a great option if you don't have the option for these, because I think they're about 19 bucks a pack. And as usual, Johanna Basford has a large online following on Instagram, which is wonderful, and she advises to share your colouring. Upload a picture of your colouring to the gallery on my website or share it on social media, which is great. I love sharing colouring pages. I love seeing everyone's interpretations of every page. It's amazing how one page can be coloured 50,000 different ways, and I love seeing everyone's artistic expressions. So yes, Johanna does provide some tips for colouring in her books, which is wonderful. So if you're starting out, be rest assured she has some advice and can help you. So another book that I wanted to show you, that these are my favourite books in terms of how they feel and the look and the hardcover. I'm a massive book fan. I love a hardcover book. I have read a couple of Kindle books. I've done a couple of audio books. However, I'm a traditionalist. I need to have the real thing, and these just feel wonderful. These books are by Karlzon, and when I looked at these online, I thought that these were A4 sizes, but they're actually not. Look at these compared to the square. So here we have, they're the same size, height-wise, as Johanna Basford's books. And if I compare it to Small Victories, actually, it's not that bigger. Which is so funny, because I thought that they would, I actually thought, and here I have Leila Duly's Floribunda Year, which I'll get to in a minute. With this book, I thought they were going to be closer to this size, which, as you can see, they're a little bit larger, but they are shorter. There you go. So perspective is a wonderful thing, especially online when it's a little bit lacking. So, and as you can see, like, there's the size of my hand. So they're a nice smaller book to have in your possession as well. And if I put a pen to the side, there you go. So yeah, I was so surprised, but her books are beautiful. I think she's got the binding as well. They're hardback, which are great, and they're so shiny. I love they just feel so good. And I love it just lays flat. Like, that is just so nice and flat. So nice and flat. And the paper is amazing, and Hannah is also a great option if you are colouring for the first time and you're interested in a little bit of detail, but not too much that it's overwhelming. And I'll get an example of that in a minute. I can't wait to colour this page. So there's plenty of options. I would say her stuff is probably, in terms of detail, you're probably looking at medium amount of detail in her books. If you're looking at the spectrum of detailed colouring books, these are probably your middle ground, I would say. So she certainly has options, and these are wonderful too if you don't want to commit to large double page spreads, if you're just looking for something that is going to take you an appropriate amount of time. So she does have some smaller images like this. This full book is a flip through on my channel as well if you're interested, and I do plan on buying more of her books as they become available in the store. I even have it on my Amazon wish list. I do prefer to go in and buy them because I like to, I don't know, I'm just an in-person book person. So hers are another wonderful option to explore. My favourite at the moment is Leila Duly, depending on what region you're from. So she specialises on flowers and flora, as you can see. Now, this is a wonderful 2024 edition of Floribunda Year, and her books are great if you are a seasoned colorist, or you might be a beginner colorist and you just want to dive straight in. There's nothing stopping you, go for it. So hers are quite detailed and quite beautiful. The pages feel very lovely. There is a lot of detail here. Lots of detail to work through. And I find that with these books, I am less inclined to colour a background because I feel that the space and the text, it's all part of it. It all has a place. So there is a full book flip through on my channel as well of this. Now, this spine is it's a little bit more stiff. As much as it's like flexible, It's a little bit more stiff. Oh, the price tag's on there. So, you know what? I'll show you the price tag. This is from Cook & Young bookstore. So this one is $30. So this is, you're probably starting to creep up a little bit in colouring book prices. I think Hannah Karlzon ones range between 20 and 25. Given that they are smaller, I think that's appropriate. So yes, you will have varying price points of your colouring books. However, I'd recommend that when you're just starting out, don't worry about buying these massive ones if you don't want to. Just get a feel for the books that you like and try a whole heap of different ones. I even noticed in Woolies today, there's some colouring books. They're more like, to me, they're more like magazine colouring books than, you know, not proper, because all books are proper, but they're more magazine style than this kind of style. But that's a great option to start out if you just want to see what works for you, if you just want to try your hand at colouring. There are so many different things you can do. Leila's books are also wonderful if you want to learn about the flowers and the subjects that you are colouring. She does have in the back of her books what type of flowers they are, which I really enjoy the process with this, because I look up the flower on Pinterest and I try to match the colours of the traditional flowers. I find this really helps me learn my flower names. I'm terrible with my flower names. I just look at it and go, that's a big one or that's a little one. But yeah, her books are beautiful. There's just so much you could do. Okay, so moving on to what I would consider the big guns when it comes to colouring and detail is, of course, Kirby Rosanes. Kirby is one of my favourites in terms of creativity and colouring things that you just would not imagine. As you can tell, Imagine Morphia, Exhibit A. So now I've been known for this as well, but I would first look at his books and see the detail and think, flip on a stick, no way. There is no way that I could colour in that. They are so detailed, which yes, they are, absolutely. However, don't let the shading fool you, because his work is so shaded, which I actually think is wonderful. Like, you could just like flat lay it, as in you could just colour like one colour and it's going to look absolutely beautiful, because he's already done the shading work for you, which actually can make it so much easier. So for example, with these rabbits here, they've got a lot of shading, so they might look complex. However, if you forgo the shading and just look at the actual element, they're not that bad. I know that there's a lot of, little mushrooms and things like that, and there's a lot of little leaves. However, the more you look, the more you'll see that there is actually quite a number of elements that are large and easy to colour in if you look past the detail. If you look at the forest for the trees, so to speak. There are certainly some, like this one, for example, that are just, you've got no choice but to go into the details. But, spiders, no thank you. That one's cute. It's like a pineapple with bits and bobs. But I would encourage you to don't bypass his books if you're new. Even with this gorilla, honestly, you could go through and just colour him one colour and the shading's already there for you. But again, his style's not for everyone. There's certain images which I'm like skulls, I'm not really, it's probably not for me, but birds, yes, 100%. Again, another large element here that you could just colour the one colour, and even the butterflies don't need to be that complicated. You can make it as simple as you like. So please don't feel discouraged when you see books like this and you think, oh my God, how would I do that? You can go as simple as you like. These books are also wonderful to practice your shading, because he's got the shading marks, as I've said, and as you can see, he's got the shading marks there already as a guide. So you can use that to guide you when you're practicing your light and shade. All of Kirby's books, bar that I own, bar 1 or 2, I have as flip throughs on my channel, because I only started my blank book flip throughs after the fact when I purchased two. So Wonder Morphia, and there's another coloured animal one which I haven't posted because I've coloured in them. Yeah, because they're not blank, I'm not doing that. So, and Kirby's books are also the same size as Johanna Basford's, again with that square. Here's a lovely fish that you could colour as well. And you could also, because there's some bubbles on the background here, you could also practice colouring in bubbles. You could practice colouring in a bokeh effect because the circles are already there for you. So many wonderful ideas. So there are so many colouring books out there on the market for you to try. You certainly don't have to jump in and go neck deep straight away. You can ease yourself into it. And I think also too, I will mention that you do have varying degrees of page art tone. So I would say that Millie's are pure white. And then some of Johanna's as well are an off-white. I don't believe, well, personally, I don't think it makes that much of a difference to the pencils over the top. It could be just a stylistic choice, but I will go and research that, actually. That would be interesting to know. So there we have it, guys. We have some lovely examples of some colouring books that you can choose, and I've gone through some of my favourites as well. I plan to do more book review videos and more flip throughs as I collect them. As you know, I am a book collector and I'm constantly going through all my new editions and I love flipping through them. I'm one of those people that really just likes the smell of books. Are you like that? Oh, they just smell so good. You could just sniff them forever, couldn't you? So guys, I hope this was helpful. I hope this has helped to break down some of the overwhelm when it comes to choosing a colouring book. I hope that this has helped you to, say, even compartmentalize some of the colouring choices that are available. I encourage you to go out and explore and do a deep dive into different kind of books. And I will also say that just because there is a popular illustrator does not mean that you have to colour it if you're not a fan. I should have said that earlier too. Just because I like Johanna Basford or a lot of other people like Johanna Basford doesn't mean that you are obligated to colour in this if you don't. There are so many different styles out there. For example, the other day, and I almost bought it and I didn't. You know, I think it's Pusheen or Pusheen, like the cat, the cartoon cat, which is really cute. There's a lot of books out of those as well. So you could colour in some cartoon stuff if you want to. There are so many. So if you have any questions about colouring books or any suggestions for colouring book videos or illustrators / authors that you would like to see, let me know in the comments below. I am so interested in creating more videos for you guys to help you unpack colouring books and to help you make the best decision for you. And if you haven't already, please like and subscribe to my channel. I upload videos on the regular. I'm uploading a bit more lately because of my new book purchases, but also because I think because I'm in a very high growth stage of my channel, so I have a lot of fresh ideas coming through, so I'm filming them as the inspiration comes through. I'm trying not to spam you. So I do apologize if I am. I'm looking at my video schedule at the minute and I'm like, oh, there's like something coming through every day, which is super fun. So I will see you in the next video and I hope you have a lovely day. Bye for now. Bye-bye.